ecological issues.
Environmental Directions with Nancy Perlman continues with further discussion of the world's critical ecological issues. For more information, you may call area code 310-559-9160 or write to Post Office Box 351419, Los Angeles, California 90035. At the end of the program, we will give you the address and phone number again. Now, here's Nancy.
I'm here at the Consulate General of the Republic of Azerbaijan. With me is the Consul General of Azerbaijan in Los Angeles, Nasimi Aghayev. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much for having me on your show.
I have been going to many different programs that you have presented about your beautiful country. And I think it's important for Americans to understand what you have, where it is. It's on the Caspian Sea, but you are next to Russia and Georgia and Iran. You have a beautiful environment. So could you describe your country?
Azerbaijan is located in the region called South Caucasus. It's a very interesting geography, interesting neighborhood. Azerbaijan has a long sea coast of the Caspian Sea, so around 800 kilometers long beach of the Caspian Sea, but also we have neighbors like Russia, Georgia, Armenia, Turkey and Iran. Actually, this is the only country in the region that borders all of them. It's a very fascinating geography. Azerbaijan is a young country. We have been independent just since 23 years after the collapse of the Soviet Union. So we got the chance to restore our freedom once again in 1991 when the Soviet Empire collapsed. But Azerbaijan actually enjoyed its first republic in 1918. So in 1918, the people of Azerbaijan established the first secular parliamentary democracy in the entire Muslim world. It was called Azerbaijan Democratic Republic. So it had enacted a lot of reforms, very progressive reforms, such as, for example, granting right to vote to women for the first time in the Muslim world. So we were pioneers in many regards. Regrettably, that republic only survived for 2 years before being invaded by Bolsheviks and then becoming part of the Soviet Union. But today we are independent. We enjoyed a lot. And Azerbaijan has lots of stories to tell.
But while the republic is relatively new within the last century, there have been over 20 ethnic groups inhabiting this region for thousands of years. Not only Muslims, but Jews, Christians, and other people.
You're absolutely right, and we're very proud of it. Azerbaijan is a very diverse country, not only geographically, not only nature-wise, but also in terms of ethnicities living in our country for centuries, as you mentioned. We have over 20 ethnicities today living in Azerbaijan, and also many religions are represented in Azerbaijan. And they have been living in our country for centuries in peace and harmony. For example, take the Jewish community. The ancient community of Jews is called mountainous Jewish community that came to Azerbaijan to escape persecutions in different parts of the world, and they came to Azerbaijan, settled down in a very nice neighborhood and mountainous area. That's why it's called mountainous Jewish community. And they have coexisted with among Muslim Azerbaijanis in peace and stability for centuries. Imagine during the Russian Empire, when Jews were not allowed to own lands, Azerbaijani Muslims would buy land for Jews and give it to them so that they could build synagogues on it.
And what's nice is that so many of these historic structures that have been around for hundreds of years are preserved and protected by the government, not only saving the natural resources in over 8 national parks and state reserves and other kinds of preserves for the flora and fauna. The cultural and natural history are both being protected.
Exactly. It's one of the top priorities for the government of Azerbaijan to protect this ethnic and religious tolerance, these strong traditions of tolerance and harmony in our country, and we are very proud of it. I'll give you just one example. The government of Azerbaijan paid and financed and built a completely new synagogue for the Jewish community in the center of Baku. And it's said to be the first time that a government of a predominantly Muslim nation, secular nation, builds a synagogue for the Jewish community. So, and also recently, Azerbaijani government built a cultural house for the Orthodox Russian Church in Azerbaijan. So the whole purpose is that people of different ethnicity and religion continue to peacefully live in our country and enjoy all these freedoms.
So you have this new architecture and you have this very ancient architecture, beautiful art, beautiful costumes that I see with your ethnic dancers. But about 25 years ago, I was in Baku, and it's a major oil producing city. And yet back then, it was pretty polluting, the way they were developing the natural resources, and you have so many natural resources. So how are you protecting the water and the air now?
That's absolutely right, that during the Soviet times, not that much attention was being paid to protecting the environment. The whole purpose of the Soviet government was to get as much oil as possible. That's why that was the top priority. Regretfully, it led to the pollution, a lot of pollution in Azerbaijan. But since we became independent, and especially since Azerbaijan has started getting revenues from its oil as an independent nation, we have started investing a lot of money into protecting our environment, into specifically cleaning those oil polluted areas. For example, Azerbaijani government has established a company in partnership with foreign companies that has taken very bold measures to clean one specifically polluted area called Bibi Heybat. So in that Bibi Heybat, which is an area, a region at our capital city Baku, there has been oil production for centuries, and that's why it was extremely polluted. But now when you go there, you will see a completely new area, totally cleaned of oil, waste, and you can see even lots of trees have been planted, a new park is now there. So this is now one of the top priorities for my government, to clean all oil polluted areas. And also the Caspian Sea as well is a very important area for us. Now we are cooperating and working with different foreign oil companies that try to produce oil in a way that does not pollute the Caspian Sea itself.
Of course, the Caspian Sea has endangered species living in it. So how are you protecting the fish both in the sea, in your lakes, in your rivers?
Yes, exactly. For example, one specific and very, I would say, endangered species is a sturgeon. And Azerbaijan is one of the centers of caviar production, for example. But Azerbaijan is probably the only country in the entire Caspian Sea region that implements complex actions against pollution of the Caspian Sea and protecting this fish environment that is there. Like, for example, we have established a specific sturgeon plan that grows sturgeon and then lets them into the sea so that their population does not disappear. And that's one of the areas we pay a lot of attention to as well.
You have protected some unique plants and animals in your parks. So if I went there, what would they look like? And how high are your mountains?
Azerbaijan has a diverse nature. Out of 12 climatic zones existing in the world, we've got 9. So imagine in a country which is the size of the state of Maine or the country of Austria, you've got 9 out of 12 climatic zones. So it's a very diverse nature. You've got high mountains. The highest peak is around 4,500 meter high.
So we're talking about over 12,000 feet.
Exactly. So you've got also like subtropical climate where we grow oranges, or you have a desert plain areas as well. So it's very diverse. So the visitors enjoy visiting all these areas, diversity. We have national parks and reserves, as you mentioned, over like 15 of them have been established during our independence, and the government is taking a lot of measures so that the woods and forests and all the flora and fauna are protected, and strict rules are being applied, laws have been adopted. So you've got beaches, you've got high mountains, you've got everything that a visitor would wish for.
Great outdoor adventures, hiking and other recreation.
Yes, just let me also mention the ski. We've just introduced the ski resorts, 2 of them in Azerbaijan for the first time. So we're now also learning how to ski.
And of course, whenever one visits, you eat. And I know I have had the opportunity to eat some of the delicious food you provide at your receptions. So what are some of the specialties?
As for the food, you're right. Azerbaijani food combines different elements of our region. It's rich in flavor and taste. It has similarities to the kitchens of our region, but it has also peculiarities. Like, for example, the pilaf, the rice dish we have, you can find in Azerbaijan 40 types of it. Even I don't know all of them, but it's very delicious. So, but you have to be careful that it's so delicious that you can gain some weight, but it's very enjoyable.
We would have to go enjoy and participate in some of the ethnic dances, because I saw the performances there. I've seen the dancers when they perform here in Southern California. The costumes are stunning. The movements are incredible. The precision, the flowing movements of the women and the men, very precise kicking and pointing of their feet. It's very Central Asian, very much in the mode of the neighbors of Central Asia, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan.
Azerbaijan has been a meeting place of civilizations for centuries. We are located at the crossing point of East and West, Europe and Asia. That's why even our dances reflect many different elements. But I would say that a strong influence here is the Caucasian dances. So I would call Azerbaijani dances Caucasian dances, with the strong elements, of course, from other neighborhoods as well. So a lot of harmony in the dance. So I think it's also one of the things that we're protecting a lot.
Isn't there a piece of Azerbaijan in outer space?
You know something. You're right. We have a music that's a traditional music that's called muga, Azerbaijani traditional music. It's kind of improvised, an improvised music genre like jazz. In 1977, when the Jet Propulsion Laboratory of NASA sent two identical spacecraft called Voyager, they attached to it the golden record. And this golden record included 27 songs, only 27 songs from around the globe, and one of them was Azerbaijani Mugham. So the hope was that someday an extraterrestrial would find it and listen to it. I hope they will do it sometime in the future, but it represents the world music for the outer world. So we are very proud that Azerbaijani music was included, and we celebrated the 35th anniversary of the launch of Voyager spacecraft together with NASA here at the Schoenberg Hall of the UCLA University in 2012.
Your history is fascinating, and I truly enjoyed traveling through your country. I look forward to going back, seeing some more of the beautiful areas. So describe for somebody who hasn't been there, what does it look like?
Baku, for example, our capital, city of Baku, is a big metropolis. It's the biggest cultural, of course, and economic center of the country. Baku has, for example, an old town that's medieval architecture, but it's surrounded by Baroque style buildings from end of 19th and beginning of 20th century, when we had our first oil boom, when the Nobel brothers, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and all the other big giants were working in Azerbaijan, producing actually 50% of global oil back then. So they brought also architecture with them. Also Azerbaijani oil magnates built lots of beautiful architecture there. But today we have the modern architecture as well. You can see the flame towers, which are high buildings where Fairmont Hotel is present, but also lots of different, like the Heydar Aliyev Cultural Center.
So your cities have incredible opportunities to enjoy history, but the countryside is beautiful. What kind of other plants and animals would one see?
Exactly. So you drive just 2-3 hours from Baku, and you find yourself in the high mountains, Caucasus Mountains, and then you drive to the east. You can enjoy the seaside area of the Caspian Sea with nice new beaches and the infrastructure, hotels, and you can see bears, wolves, but we have also a very diverse nature, desert as well.
And your government is committed to trying to have this new development in a green, sustainable way, because I know about 2010 you had the Year of Ecology.
Exactly. 2010 was declared the Year of Ecology by our president, and lots of measures were taken during that year. Take one example, the Azerbaijan Diplomatic Academy. It's called now ADA University. It's the brand new university in Azerbaijan, and it's functioning on the base of green energy. So it's not using actually much of the regular energy. So, or wind and solar energy is also a priority for our government, because we've got lots of potential in that area as well.
I want to thank you so very much for letting us know what's going on in your part of the world. Thank you for being my guest.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure to be on your show.
I have been speaking with Nasimi Aghayev, who is the Consul General here in Los Angeles at the Consulate General of the Republic of Azerbaijan. Thank you very much for joining us, and do tune in again next week.
If you would like free information about these vital ecological issues, write to Environmental Directions, Post Office Box 351-419, Los Angeles, California 90035, or call area code 310-559-9160. Cassette copies of this program are available. Today's show has been produced in the Los Angeles studios of the Ecology Center of Southern California. Environmental Directions with your host, Nancy Pearlman, is a community affairs program of Educational Communications and this station.